Are you feeling exhausted, stuck, and questioning whether you're even cut out for leadership anymore? Let me help you take your burnout and turn it into your biggest breakthrough. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 keys that will help you to regain your confidence as a leader. Now, these 4 keys that I'm going to show you today in this video are not theory. This isn't something that I pulled out of a book or got out of a book somewhere. This is something that I've experienced. This is from my lived experience. Although I have my MBA, this isn't something I got from a classroom. My MBA did not teach me how to lead. It did not help me to develop my leadership skills. Although I believe in investing in yourself educationally to advance your career, I discovered that what I learned in the classroom taught me the basic functions and the basic departments that I would experience in any business, but it did not give me the skill set that I needed and continue to need to succeed as a leader in a leadership role. And so these 4 keys that I'm going to share with you are the very same keys that my clients use in order to see success. They have gotten promotions, they have started businesses, they've seen improved productivity, improved relationships, they've seen transformation based off of these 4 keys. And I'm going to share these 4 keys with you today because I want to help you to get unstuck, to move from being frustrated and exhausted into occupying your leadership role as a person who's confident in what you're doing. See, if you're anything like me, you're looking to go to the next level. If you're anything like me, you are looking to access leadership skills that you haven't tapped into yet because you're looking for new results. Back in 2012, I realized that I needed to do something differently. I was an executive in an organization, but I was not satisfied. I wasn't happy. I was frustrated. I was stuck. I questioned whether leading was right for me. I was really ready to throw in the towel. I was ready to quit, but something in me just wouldn't let me quit. It wouldn't let me throw in the towel and give up my leadership role. If you are anything like me, you've probably had those questions in your mind, that questioning of, you know what, should I just give it all up? Should I just throw in the towel because what I'm doing today isn't getting me the results that I desire? And if you're anything like me, you have that voice inside of you that keeps telling you to push on. That voice inside of you that tells you, despite what negative words you're hearing all around you, despite how frustrated you've been feeling, despite the uncomfortability that you are experiencing, you still have more left in you to give. And so I want you to take this video as a sign that there's something you can do to change your circumstance, that there's something you can do in order to help you move forward in the way that you want to move forward with. And it'll help you to regain your confidence, regain joy, and really begin to experience leading from a place of pleasure as opposed to a place of pain. So let me know in the comment section if this is resonating with you at all. If you have experienced wanting to quit, wanting to walk away, and saying, you know what? I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else is out there. I've given it my very best because I've been there. I have given my very best. I have laid on my couch crying. I have been so frustrated because I just did not know what to do. And so, as I said earlier, back in 2012, I knew something had to change. But it wasn't until 2016 that things began to change because I decided that things weren't going to change until I changed. And so I began investing in coaching, in books, and trainings because I knew I was missing something. I was missing this key ingredient that was going to help me to succeed. Did you know that 85% of job success comes from soft skills or people skills versus 15% of job success comes from the technical skill set that we have? But many times the technical aspect of job training is overemphasized and the people skills, the soft skills aspect is minimized. And so people walk around focused on their hard skill development while the soft skills that should be continually being nurtured is being neglected. And so what I realized was there were some soft skills that I needed to invest in. There were some soft skills that needed to be developed in my life if I was going to go to the next level, because I wasn't comfortable staying the same. I wasn't comfortable remaining the present version of myself. And I knew I had to do something. And so if you're anything like me, you know you have to do something. So I want to introduce you to my path to purposeful leadership framework. So we're going to go through the framework. I want you to take notes, pause the video if you need to while you're going through this method. But this method is going to help you to regain your leadership confidence. Okay. I'm going to grab my notes for this method because I want to make sure I'm not missing any of the key points and key nuggets that I wrote down for you to take with you. But the first, we'll go through the letters of it first. So the P is for your perspective. A is for you to assess your commitment. T is for you to decide on the type of leader you want to be. And H is all about you harnessing your growth. And so as you look at the P for your perspective, you want to make sure that you're seeing burnout as an opportunity. I know you're probably thinking, Shaiteria, you want me to see this burnout as an opportunity. How is that even possible? And I want to challenge you and say, yes, this burnout is an opportunity. See, as a leader, you are positioned to see problems through the lens of solutions, so that when you see a problem, you are equipped to say, I've gone ahead of the problem and I've gathered the solution because I know it's possible. Now, you don't have to have every solution as a leader, but you have to position yourself to see the problem and know that a solution is available so that you are solution focused and not problem oriented. So the P in this method helps you to evaluate your perspective. So when you see your burnout as this opportunity as opposed to an obstacle, you can begin to question yourself and discover what you can do differently. So you see this burnout and you're like, okay, this burnout is a signal that something is not right. You would ask yourself, what can you do to reposition this, to turn this burnout into an opportunity? And so for me, when I began to reposition, because I, like you, felt stuck, I felt frustrated, and I was ready to quit, right? I was like, listen, I'm over leading. I'm not leading anymore. I'm just not doing it. But when I began to look at the burnout as an opportunity, I began to see openings for change. I remember one time I was engaging with my team and I realized, wait a minute, I'm being overly critical when I'm engaging with them. Because I'm being overly critical, it's creating this friction between us. Now, I'm a very direct person. And because I'm very direct, it can be taken as rude or off-putting. But when I sandwich it between the good things that my team is doing, it changes everything. So I realized, listen, I'm going into these situations and I'm pointing out negatives. What would happen if I begin to point out the positives? And I'll tell you, because listen, I am a believer, and if you are not a believer in Jesus Christ, that's fine. But as a believer, I know what prompted me to begin this evaluation of what I was doing. And so Holy Spirit said to me, how would you like it if I pointed out everything that was wrong with you? And I said, I wouldn't. He began to talk to me about how necessary it was for me to lead through the lens of love. And so I began to get a new perspective about the burnout that I was experiencing, that I was burned out because I wasn't leading through love. I was leading through a critical lens. But as I began to shift my perspective, I began to see the opportunities for change. Not the opportunities for my team to change, but the opportunities for me to change. And so I began to go in and engage with my team, and I would tell them all the things I liked about what they were doing. And do you know what happened? They then began to come to me to tell me the things they were working on. So I would, listen up. If you didn't know, at the end of this month, whenever you're watching this, I'm hosting a 5-day leadership challenge, the Inspire, Influence, and Impact Leadership Challenge. And this is not your typical event. It's 5 days of life coaching with me, where I help you to unlock your leadership code and address your leadership challenges head on. Here's the kicker. If you go VIP, I'll personally answer your questions. Listen, you don't want to allow 2025 to be like every other year that you've had. Let 2025 be your breakthrough year where you receive the strategies and mindsets, where you receive the strategies and mindset shifts that are necessary to transform your leadership and your life. Listen, allow yourself to invest in you this year so that you can achieve your desired results. Come out, grab your ticket, check out the leadership challenge so that you can take your leadership to the next level. I'll see you in the challenge. Bye. They then begin to come to me to tell me the things they were working on. So I would present them with the good, and they would present me with what they were improving. I no longer had to come in and say, why is this not done? What are we doing over here? They begin to come to me and say, Shaiteria, this is what I'm doing in the back room, and this is what I'm doing with the orders. And this was a mistake that I made, but I caught the mistake, and guess what? We're going to have all the things we need on our next truck. They begin to come to me and they begin to tell me what they were going to do in order to rectify any problems that were being presented in their domain. But it wasn't until I got a new perspective about my burnout that I was able to give them an opportunity to shine in their leadership. And so I want you to use your burnout as an opportunity to say, what can I do differently? How can I show up differently as a leader? How can I position myself to hear more clearly? How can I position myself to be more loving? I'll say this because when I was being trained as a leader in every company I've worked for, I was never told how to lead with love. I was taught how to lead aggressively, and so I was aggressive in my leading. I was taught how to work operationally within the structure of the organization, but I was never taught how to serve through my leadership, how to pull the very best out of my team, because I was empowering them to be the best version of them, because I was giving them what they needed to succeed. But it was when I began to shift my perspective, when I got the new perspective, is when all of that began to change for me. So the P in the path to purposeful leadership framework is perspective shift. Perspective shift. You are going to need to shift your perspective in order to position yourself purposefully as you lead. Okay. I want to make sure there's nothing that I forgot that I wanted to share with you from this one. Oh, yes. So instead of me feeling defeated throughout the process, when I shifted my perspective, I began to be reignited. I began to feel more confident about the decisions that I was making. I began to feel more confident before having conversations with my team. Because think about this. If every time you're having a conversation with somebody, you're talking about something negative, it's going to make you not want to have a conversation. It's going to make that person not want to have a conversation. You're going to begin to feel defeated. They're going to feel defeated. And it's just going to be a cycle of defeat. It's going to be a cycle of disappointment. It's going to be a cycle of just mess, right? Like, you're not going to want to deal with it. They're not going to want to deal with it. So perspective shift is huge. Okay. So number 2, you're going to assess your commitment. Now, this step is going to seem simple, but let me tell you, it is key. All 4 of these steps are going to be key for you regaining your confidence as a leader. So don't skip out on any of the steps. Don't think this is too simple, because it's the simplicity of it that makes it successful. When you use these principles, it's going to catapult your leadership. It's going to transform how you lead. It's going to transform how you are viewed as a leader. And it's going to allow you to have influence, which will lead to massive impact. See, as leaders, we need to create space for us to influence. And people are influenced by us based on how they see us. This perspective shift is going to position you to be seen differently by those that you lead. When you are seen differently, you are then categorized differently. When you are categorized differently, people receive from you differently. And so as you position yourself to have this new perspective, you are positioning yourself to be seen by your team and to be seen by your boss in a new light. So, number 2, you're assessing your commitment. You have to make a decision. I had to make a decision. You have to make a decision to say if you are going to walk away from leading altogether, or if you are going to be committed to leading, period. As you're assessing your commitment and you're deciding, you are cutting off every other option. You're saying whether I have a good day when I'm leading or whether I am frustrated while I'm leading, I am a leader, period. So when you commit to leading, you're coming out of the position of passivity, because many times as leaders, we're passively leading because other people saw that we were a leader, and so we stepped into this role. But when you assess your commitment, what you are saying is, I'm deciding that I'm moving forward with this. And so how you're going to assess your commitment is this. You're going to review your life. You're going to look backwards in order to go forward in this particular instance. And so you're going to review your life, and you're going to see if there is a theme of leading throughout your life. You're going to see if you were in leadership roles that were paid and unpaid. You're going to see if when you are in group settings with your families and friends, if they're looking to you. You're going to see the level of influence that you carry in every sphere of your life. And you're going to begin to see yourself as a leader. See, you want to walk away from leading because you don't really see yourself as a leader. Let me be honest. I didn't see myself as a leader. But when I did this step, it changed everything. I was reminded of the award that I won, or the award that I received back in 8th grade. It was a leadership award. I didn't see myself as a leader, but my teachers saw me as a leader. I was reminded of conversations I had with teachers about me being a leader. I was reminded of various positions that I got because people voted me into those positions, which were leadership positions. I was reminded that there was a theme throughout my life where I and leadership were synonymous. I was the one who was counted on and called on because of what I carried. And so this step is crucial for you to say yes to or no. Like if you're like, okay, Shakteria, I'm over leading, I'm moving on, that's perfectly fine. But this step is necessary so you can know whether or not you're moving on or if you're staying put. Right? So you want to decide there. This step allows you to gather the necessary evidence so that when it's hard, you can replay that evidence and say, oh, you know what? Even though it's difficult, it's doable. Say it with me. Even though it's difficult, it's doable because I'm committed. I am committed to this leadership journey. I'm committed to developing the character traits in me that are necessary for me to lead where I'm going. Okay, so first one, perspective shift. Second one is you assessing your commitment. Third one is you are going to be clear on the type of leader that you want to be. So T is type of leader identification. Identification is so key, right? You have an ID, right? The ID labels for you the descriptors of who you are, or the descriptors associated with you. So it says the color of your eyes. It says how tall you are. It identifies your sex. It identifies your weight so that when someone looks at that ID, they can confidently say that you are who you say you are. T is so key here because this is type of leader identification where you are now defining who you are as a leader. That means you need to know your values, you need to know your vision, and you need to know your leadership style. Your values, your vision, and your leadership style is what you're going to be looking at in type, right? I never knew that you could define or decide or determine the type of leader that you wanted to be. I was so accustomed to the adage of leaders are born and not made. Although I was uncomfortable with that adage, I didn't know what to do with that uncomfortability. And so I would just wrestle with the words. But when I discovered that I could determine the kind of leader I wanted to be, it changed everything for me. I could decide what my values were. Now, whether you decide what your values are or not, you still have them. But what I discovered was that when I decided what was valuable to me, it changed how I delivered the vision that I carried. It changed how I led the people, because you have values whether or not you identify them. But some of the values that you carry, you're carrying them from the people that you're connected to. And those values are probably not serving you. I discovered that I had values that weren't serving me. I had values that were actually repelling people that I wanted close to me. Because I did not know what my values were, because I did not take the time to identify the type of leader that I wanted to be. So you have to take time to identify the type of leader that you want to be, where you're breaking down your values, your vision, and your leadership style. Listen, when I discovered what my leadership style was, when I was frustrated, right? Because you have the type of leader that you display when you don't have any stressors around you. And then you have the type of leadership that you display when you are under pressure, when the heat is on, right? My leadership style, when the heat is on, is authoritative. That's because of the values that were passed on to me based upon the people I was connected to. So when I discovered, wait a minute, I have this authoritative leadership style that's not getting me anywhere. I want to influence, to have massive impact. I need to make some changes here. So when I went from being authoritative to being collaborative, it changed everything. So even when the pressure is on, when the heat is high, I position myself as one who collaborates instead of one who dictates. But I would not be able to do that unless I took the time to discover the type of leader that I was and the type of leader I desired to be. Okay, so don't skip this. I know I've said it before, but each one of these are huge. The last one is to harness your growth, right? In this season, I want you to see you as investable. Like you are worth investing in. You're worth investing your time, and you're worth investing your resources to see a change and a shift and a new result. When I determined, I don't want all my papers to fall everywhere, all my good notes, but when I determined that I was not staying where I was because there was no quit in me, when I determined that something had to change, I determined that I needed to invest in me. So I invested in trainings, courses, coaches. I did it, right? I took the time necessary to do the work. I spent the money to do the work. I got in spaces that would change me because I needed to. I needed to be different. So I want you to imagine, if you do nothing, where will you be 6 months from now? If it's the same old, like you refuse to go through this 4 keys, you refuse to go through this 4-step method, where will you be? And I want you to imagine going through the 4-step method, seeing your relationship improve with your team members and your relationship improve with your boss. If that's all that happens, would that be worth it? Would it be worth your time to take the time to go through this method? Of course it would. You taking the time to go through this 4-step methodology is you saying yes to you. It's you saying yes to your progress. It's you saying yes to continually developing yourself. So invest the time necessary to get the results you want by going through this methodology, right? Do it. Your future self is going to thank you. Listen, I want you to comment below if this is resonating with you. Let me know in the comment section your 3 key takeaways from today's video. And if this video was any good to you, like it. You can subscribe to the channel, awesome. And then I want you to share this with a leader that you know who could benefit from this, okay? I want to just challenge you to rewatch this video and go through the methodology. Listen, this method is so good. I have seen transformation after transformation happen because of this. It's simple, but it's so good. So do the work so that you can see the results you desire. Because if you continue doing what you've always done, you will get what you always got, okay? And I know you don't want to stay frustrated, stuck, and questioning whether or not leading is for you, okay? So go ahead and do this. Let me grab my notes. and see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you today. That's it for this video. I want to invite you to come back, see the next video, and do the work. All right, I'll see you in another video. Bye for now. Have a great day.